In this video, I'm going to show you how I create this cool ink on water effect. It's a little something I like to call exploding ink lines. So keep watching. I'm going to tell you what you need, how to do it, and also how you can incorporate these into your ink paintings. Hey guys, my name is Sez, and I fill this channel with all kinds of art stuff. Let's get started. So just before we get into the supplies and the demo, I wanted to just whet your appetite as far as what you can create using this technique. This one, I use this exploding ink lines a little bit in this one too. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later on. So make sure you watch to the end. Let's talk supplies. All the supplies I'm gonna list in my description box as well. So make sure you check that out. You need two brushes. You need like a mop brush, something that you're gonna wet the paper with. You also need a brush. This is a rounded brush that when it's wet, it comes to a nice point or a tip. This particular brush is a traditional Chinese calligraphy brush, which I have no idea how to do, so don't ask me too much about that. You can also just use a basic watercolor brush, any brush that is rounded that you can use. The next thing you're gonna need is some paper. So I often just use mixed media paper because it tends to be a little bit more budget friendly. So I've used this one, it's 200 GSM. I also have been using it in this Ohuhu sketchbook, which I really love. I've used this one for many different mediums. You might also want some washi tape. I use washi tape around the edge, and it just keeps the paper a little bit from maybe warping too much. It also gives it that nice edge that I really like. This is the ink that I use. Now, the reason I bought this ink is this is what was available to me. There are so many different brands, but I have never tested any other brands, I should say. This is traditional Chinese ink. In Japan, it's referred to as sumi ink. Now, I'm gonna link this brand in particular. You can try whichever one you want. This is the belle of the ball, as we like to say. Next thing you need, either a little cup, a plate, or like a palette. The other thing, you just need a clean water source. That doesn't look clean, it is clean. And maybe like a tissue, not for your nose, you're not gonna cry, maybe you'll cry. But no, sometimes I use it to dab up some of the water or dab on my brush. Let's get into the demonstration of doing these lines. So the first thing you wanna do is grab your mop brush, dip it in the water, and let's just do one line. And I've got some ink already poured, but I'm gonna pour one more. A nice big chunk fell in there. So now, oh, PU, by the way, this ink stinks. Jokes. That was a bit of a big reaction. It doesn't stink that bad, but it does have an odor. It doesn't bother me all that much. Next thing you want to do, dip your brush in the water and then go ahead and dip it in the ink. Just, you don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. So, all right, let's go. And we have a fail because it's not a complete fail. So this one, I only did one swipe of water, and you can see it didn't explode that much. That was on purpose. Let's do another one with a good amount of water. And the reason you need the right amount of water is because the explosion is happening on the water, the surface of the water. There we go. Woo! Yeah. Oh, I just love that so much. The explosion is actually happening on the top of the water, not on the paper so much. So we're gonna let that dry and you're gonna see what that looks like. I'm gonna do a line with way too much water, like pools of water, which, to be honest, has its place. Creating a card like this, if you do try this ink, create a card, try like not enough water, too much ink, not enough ink, because they all have their place. Let's go. What? Oh, that looks so cool. So definitely for videos and stuff, it's amazing. The cool thing about having loads of water is you can manipulate the ink quite a bit as you go along. So I would say this is not enough water. This is enough water, but kind of, I don't know, it didn't do the best. I could have spread it out more. The ink is only gonna spread as wide as the water. So let's do even bigger space like that. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit more ink and let's see what happens. I love that one. That one's perfect. You really can see it's still moving. I'm probably gonna try and bring it up close. Sometimes I'll like move it around with this. This is just a little dust blower. I'm gonna do a dot of water over here, and I'm gonna show you what you can do with that. Put a little bit of ink on there. Might be a bit too much water, but it's okay, you'll get the idea. And there we go. You can see that obviously is going to turn into kind of like an eye, and where I got the idea to paint an eye. So I wanted to show you another card that I had done before. These ones are already dry. These ones will take a little bit of time to dry, but you can see what's created is totally different textures, and each time will give you a different texture. This one I did kind of a wavy form there. But you can see how if you use your imagination, it can turn into different textures that you can use in your picture. So let's look at this a little bit closer. So here, if you look closely in the eye, you can see the explosions there. Obviously, this was also done with layers. So I would have put the ink down, let it dry. Sometimes I use a blow dryer, and then adding additional ink on top to create the details. This one, I started the painting out with that. And you can see, if you look up really close, that's all the spreading out and everything like that. So it's just so beautiful, and you can, I think I even used at the top the ridge of the mountains and then just moved it around however I wanted. So there's so much that you can do. This is just the tip of the iceberg as far as techniques and what you can do. I'm still just learning this, so I would invite you that if you have any questions, just fill my comment box with all of your questions and I will try my best to answer them. Check out that description box if you're interested in any of the supplies. You should consider subscribing to my channel also, and stay tuned because I have more things to share with you. Bye!